Welcome back to the Irish Bandit channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit, and we're picking up right where we left off on Tuesday with part 2 of my Halloween franchise ranked video. If you did not see part 1, you can check it out right here over my shoulder. We're going through 12 through 7, and we're going to continue on with 6 through number 1 today. Now, you're going to notice a little something about the segment for entry number 6. I'm wearing a different t-shirt because I went a little further than I wanted to with the first video. I was only going to do 6 for that video, and then the top 6 for this video. I ended up doing 7. So, yeah, that's 7. I ended up doing 7. So I figured, what the hell, I'll just cut that out of the last video, put it in this one instead. But as you'll see, I'm wearing a different shirt, but my feelings still stand for this this entry coming in at number 6. I thought it was a great return to form, and it was the first time that we saw the deletion of part of the original franchise timeline when they came out with my 6th favorite movie in the franchise, Halloween H2O, 20 years later. After the disappointment of Halloween 6, they took everything back to formula with Halloween H2O and just made the franchise great. Until Halloween Resurrection, that is. Oh god, what I love about this movie is just mostly everything. Jamie Lee Curtis returns as Laurie Strode. Fantastic. Small cameo by her mother, Janet Leigh, as well. And just a great cast around it, too, because this was coming after Scream, so you had the young hip cast, so you had like Josh Hartnett in it, Michelle Williams, who else? LL Cool J. Okay, I know he's not hip and young at that point, but still, LL Cool J friggin' rocks. So, but just Adam Arkin, again, not hip or young, but I like Adam Arkin, so whatever. But yeah, great story. Okay, good story behind it. Laurie's story about how she changed her name and got the hell out of Haddonfield, but Michael Myers is back around to find her again. But okay, I don't want to say I like this idea because they've done it too many times with the Halloween franchise by just ignoring the events of 4, 5, and 6 and leaving in Halloween 1 and 2. I'm not going to talk about Halloween 3 because that was something different altogether, but we'll talk about that in the second video. But it was just kind of like they leapfrogged everything, tried to erase it, and start over. They did that again with 2018's Halloween, but again, video number 2. But I thought they did a really good job with this movie. It was the first one that Donald Pleasence was not in because unfortunately he passed away after the making of Halloween 6. This is also the first one made after Mustafa Akkad's death, so he didn't produce it like he produced the original 6 movies. But I really like Halloween H2O, and it is one that I would watch on its own. It's that good. I like it that much. Coming in at number 5 was Michael Myers' big return to the franchise. When he, in the previous movie, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, they kind of tried to take everything in a different direction, telling a new story centered around Halloween, but nobody watched it because it didn't involve Michael Myers, and we're going to get to that one a little bit later on because, honestly, it's pretty damn good. You take off the Halloween name and it's a damn good movie. But we're not talking about Halloween 3 just yet. We're talking about Halloween 4. Halloween 4 was aptly named because it was the return of Michael Myers after Halloween 3, having a completely different story, and we'll get into that story in a little bit. We saw a lot of returns in this movie, save for Laurie Strode, who Jamie Lee Curtis had gone on to doing more mainstream movies at this point. She'd already been in Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, so she was already building a career for herself. I think Fish Called Wanda was already out by this point. I would have to check that, but I think that's what was going on because she was just on the rise as a mainstream actress at this point. But Michael Myers returned in this. Donald Pleasence returned as Dr. Sam Loomis, which he's always bringing such an energy to every Halloween movie he is in. Halloween 1, Halloween 2, 4, 5, and 6, even though I told you my opinions of 6 in the last video, not being that good, but I thought Halloween 4 was a great return for Michael Myers. Great movie, some great kills, and just a great way to bring Michael Myers back into the Halloween pantheon, and just so wonderfully done. Now, while I didn't think too highly of Halloween Kills that came out this past year, I thought its first movie before that was just wonderfully done, wonderfully shot. A great return for Jamie Lee Curtis, given what happened in the events of Halloween Resurrection. They completely chopped that out, which I'm thankful for. I wish they would have kept Halloween 2, but I'm okay with them taking out Halloween 6, Halloween Resurrections, basically just leaving it, cutting it at Halloween, and then just going on from there. Because when I heard that they were going to once again reboot the timeline, it was like, how many times can you do this, guys? Like, come on. You rebooted it once with Halloween H2O. Now you're just completely cutting that out. I can understand cutting out Halloween Resurrection because that was a terrible movie, and Halloween 6 because that was a terrible movie too. But come on, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, you could have kept those. And anyway, I'm getting off on a rant here. It doesn't change the fact that I thought the Halloween 2018, or I guess you could call it Halloween Returns or whatever, Halloween 2018 was a fantastic movie, and it is my 4th favorite in the Halloween franchise. So they really didn't have anything to be ashamed of with Halloween 2. I thought it was a fantastic movie. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But for the purposes of this movie, they eliminated everything after Halloween. Like the first Halloween in 1978, and just nothing came after that. Not the fact that Michael Myers is Laurie Strode's brother. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Halloween 2, now you know. Everything that happened with the Thorn cult, Jamie, Michael Myers' niece, all of that has been eliminated. Well, I guess all of that was eliminated with Halloween H2O. It gets confusing. When you really stop and think about the Halloween franchise, it gets confusing. And the more it gets confusing, the more it gets, the more I have to sit and scratch my head and think, and I don't want to do that when I go into a movie. I don't need to do advanced arithmetic going into a movie, trying to figure out what's what, who's who, and where's where. So they kind of cut all that out, and I love that it takes place 40 years after the events of the original movie. So instead of what happened in Halloween 2 originally, Michael Myers is sent to an insane asylum, some podcasters come, and that's where the fun begins. They do a little fun stuff with Dr. Loomis, because, of course, he's dead at this point. That's the one thing they keep in continuity, is that Dr. Loomis is dead. And they bring Jamie Lee Curtis back as Laurie Strode, who has now become a survivalist, waiting for the day that Michael Myers came back. I love how badass Laurie Strode was in this movie. She is the epitome of final girl. And at this point, she's warrior woman at this juncture of the franchise. She's gone from the bookish babysitter to bring it, you big bitch, when it comes to Michael Myers. And Jamie Lee Curtis returning to the role is just fantastic. She brings something to Laurie Strode, and I absolutely love it every time. Doesn't matter if it's original timeline, whether it's Halloween H2O, she brought something in Resurrection because she went down swinging, or with the latest trilogy that's come out. And I've, talking about the latest trilogy in Halloween Ends, which is coming out this week, watching one of the trailers for it, I was almost in tears watching it. I don't know why. And yeah, I might have been disappointed with Halloween Kills, but I'm so looking forward to Halloween Ends, because everything I've seen, just, you have that final showdown with Laurie and Michael, and I cannot wait to see how this all ends, or does it end? Because when it comes to horror franchises, nothing truly ends. You look at A Nightmare on Elm Street, we thought it ended with Freddy's dead, but you had New Nightmare. You had, oh gosh, what else did you have after that? Yeah, New Nightmare, Freddy versus Jason, and then you had the remake in 2010, which we'll be covering A Nightmare on Elm Street in a couple weeks. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I'm going off on a tangent here. I thought Halloween 2018 was fantastic, great movie, and I highly, highly recommend it. This one does not get enough love that comes in at number 3, and it's no bit of irony that it comes in at number 3. When it originally came out, it was not loved at all, for the simple fact Michael Myers was not in it in any way, shape, or form. Well, technically he was, because there was an ad playing for the original Halloween in this movie. But I think if it didn't have the Halloween name, it would have done fairly decently. I am talking about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, coming in at number 3. Halloween 3 was the first divergence away from Michael Myers, and the only divergence away from Michael Myers. It was a completely different story, completely different take on horror altogether, whereas Halloween 1 and 2 were more of the slasher. There was something more psychological about Halloween 3. I find it was something more psychological about Halloween 3. Just the story around it, the introduction of Colin Cochran as a villain, just the whole witchcraft aspect of it. I thought it worked really, really well, because all I ever heard of Halloween 3 was how disappointing it was because Michael Myers wasn't in it. So when I went into this movie, I took that aspect out of my brain, because I've already seen Halloween 1, Halloween 2 at this point. So yeah, I know who Michael Myers is. So I took that aspect out. Just don't expect to see Michael Myers in this. It's not going to be the slasher Haddonfield whatever. It is going to be something completely different, and I thoroughly enjoyed Halloween 3. I think it gets undue hate just for the simple fact it does not have the Shape in it, or Michael Myers, or whatever you want to call him, the Boogeyman, whatever. It is a great movie with a great story and a great cast. Tom Atkinson. No, Tom. I have the movie right here. I have the first 5 Halloween movies. Tom. Yeah, Tom Atkins, I think. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section down below. I know one of my more inclined Halloween friends will tell me that I'm wrong, but he is so great as the protagonist of this movie. And then you have, like I said, Colin Cochran as the villain, the evil in this movie. Just such a wonderful story, like using pieces of Stonehenge to make these masks kill kids. Dark subject matter, I know, but it works really, really well. And if you take the Halloween name off of it and don't expect to see Michael Myers, it is a fantastic movie. Like I said, great story, great cast, and just some creative mayhem and kills in this. So well done. And I highly recommend it. I think it's great. It is a great movie. I mean, why it gets the hate it does, I can only say it's because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it. But I thoroughly recommend Halloween 3. It is a wonderful movie, one of my favorite of the Halloween franchise. Coming in at number 2, this was, in my estimation, this was the perfect sequel. It continued on from the story from the first movie. You had a great chase through the hospital. You had new characters. You had just one of the skeeziest EMTs I've ever seen put to film. You have the return of a great protagonist in Dr. Loomis. And again, you have Jamie Lee Curtis. I will always rave about Jamie Lee. She is just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Coming in at number 2, my second favorite Halloween movie, Halloween 2. So when looking at the DVD release of Halloween from Shoutcast, or Scream, from, what is it? It's Scream, I know Scream Factory, that's it. Division of Shout Factory. Try and get this. First and foremost, you gotta look at this amazing artwork by Nathan Thomas Milner. I'm friends with him on Facebook. But such amazing artwork in this. And then what I love about the DVD release is that Not only do you get a DVD of the original movie, you get a DVD of the of the TV edit. That is some awesome work there from Screen Factory. So yeah, it's a continuation of Halloween, the original Halloween, just picking up like hours after everything happened in the first movie. Laurie Strode being taken to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, where she's being stalked through the entire hospital by Michael Myers. This is the revelation you get where Michael Myers is actually Laurie Strode's brother. She was adopted by the Strode family after the murder of her sister and Michael being committed to the mental institution. So I still don't know why he was stalking her because, family, I don't know. But I thought Halloween 2 was such a great movie. It had a great climax, a great fiery climax, if you catch my drift. Just a wonderful climax, great story. Again, more cerebral than any other horror movie. Because I think, Halloween, the original Halloween, I'm going to get to this in the next segment. Spoiler alert, Halloween is my favorite Halloween movie. Halloween is my favorite movie of the franchise. But one thing that Halloween doesn't get a lot of credit for is everyone thinks of it as this bloody slasher movie, and it's really not. But I'll get to that in a second, because they kind of amp up the blood a little bit in this movie. There's one scene where one of the nurses, she bleeds out, and you just see this puddle of blood on the floor. But that's really about the only blood we see in the movie. Like, these two movies combined. But I thought Halloween 2 was a perfect continuation and a perfect, what's the word I'm looking for? Perfect continuation of the first movie. So well done. I can watch these two back to back and be thoroughly entertained. And like I said, it's no big surprise what I have as number one for my favorite of the franchise. You've probably seen it coming from a mile away when I said that Halloween is my favorite horror movie of all time. And it's my favorite movie of the Halloween franchise. So coming in at number one, Halloween. What can I say about the original Halloween that hasn't already been said by a lot of horror movie fans? I love the pacing of this movie. I love the cast of this movie. I love the atmosphere. Jamie Lee Curtis in her first starring role. Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis. Nick Castle as The Shape, as he's known in this movie. He's even given the name Michael Myers in this movie. He's just known as The Shape. Just everything about this movie works. It's a slow burn from our initial meeting of Michael Myers, even when he's 5 years old and he murders Judith, his sister. It's a slow burn till the next kill. You don't get it till about 40 minutes in the movie. So it works so well. Just how he got the mask, stealing it from a hardware store or store at some point. Part. And every character in this movie just works on every level because you have all the archetypes. You have the good girl, the good virgin girl, the stoner, the girl who likes to have sex. It's all there in this movie. All these archetypes that we have seen through different movies in the horror genre, and it just all works. Like I said, I love this movie. This is my all-time favorite horror movie. It stands the test of time even to this very day. I love what they did with it then. I still love it now. I love what they continued on with Halloween 2018. Maybe not so much Halloween Kills, but we'll see what happens when Halloween Ends comes out later this week. I think it comes out tomorrow, actually. As of the release of this video, it comes out tomorrow. But we'll see. It's definitely one I'm going to need to watch because, like I said before, I'm a completionist. So I'm looking at my collection right now. It's like Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrections. I still need to get Halloween 6. I need to get the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I need to get Halloween 2018. I need to get Halloween Kills because I'm that much of a collector. Even though I don't like them, some of the movies that I've listed off there, I'm still a completionist and I have to have all those movies. Like, I don't like Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Spoiler alert. But it's still part of my collection because I absolutely love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I don't like Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. It's still part of my collection because I love the Friday the 13th movies. We talked about that. No, we haven't talked about that yet. That's coming soon. because now I've seen every Friday the 13th movie. But yeah, I'm a completionist, and I might not like a movie in the franchise, but I still gotta have it if I love the franchise itself. And I love the Halloween franchise. Michael Myers, I think, is one of the greatest horror icons of all time, and he stands the test of time. If we're still talking about him 40 years later, yeah, you know that John Carpenter is doing something right. So big ups to John Carpenter and everybody who's ever worked on a Halloween movie. But how would you rank the Halloween franchise? Let me know in the comments section down below. I would really love to read your opinions on this one because I'm sure we all have different opinions of what our favorite Halloween movie is. I'd love to read what yours is. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I really appreciate that. In the description down below, you're going to see a link to all the ways you can help support this channel. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and Reddit. You can get your Irish Bandit merchandise from my Redbubble shop. You can purchase my very first novel, Shade Falling, on Amazon. And now you can buy me a coffee. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, tap the bell and you'll be notified whenever a brand new video goes live. Some more great videos for Halloween coming up in the coming days. Tomorrow, we have another great playthrough of Dead by Daylight, where I play as Ghostface from the Scream movies. Saturday and Sunday, we've got more Blair Witch Project, or no, not Blair Witch Project. We got no more Blair Witch coming up, playing that. And then next week, I'm back with another 2-part ranking, ranking all the movies, all the current movies in the Saw franchise, from the original Saw to Spiral, the Book of Saw. We're breaking it up into 2. Tuesday, I'm going to tell you about the movies that just, I got a lot to say on the number 9 movie spot. Oh, God, I hate that movie. And then on Thursday, we're going to talk about the movies in the Saw franchise that I absolutely like. And then coming up the week after that, I'm talking about, nope, not Friday the 13th, not yet. I'm talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street. You know how much I love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and how I think Nancy Thompson is one of the greatest final girls of all time. But I'll get into that in a couple weeks. So be sure to join me because, as I said before, it's going to be one Halloween of a Halloween. So until then, I'm the Ben. I'll talk to you again next time.